Hey y'all, it is I. I wanted to go ahead and do a reading. I didn't want to be on camera, so go ahead and just give this. We already draw two cards for today's full moon. We got 3 of Earth, 5 of Earth from the Archangel deck. So 3 of Earth and 5 of Earth. This is obviously doing with the change occurring on Earth at the moment. Having to build, having to create, having to reform, having to analyze all these fucking things, having to go ahead and know what's going to be ahead and how to prepare. So, the power of creativity, recognition for very high quality work, be a team player. Fear surrounding money, the wisdom to accept help from others, as well as uncertainty in self employment or things that we may feel that are serving us rather than what the toxic system kind of currently is going. We're all awakening. We're all looking at things from a different perspective, and a temporary standstill is what's happening. It's important to be yourself, and that is what we need more than ever is authenticity, and for everyone to come together and challenge people with their ideas and inspire people with our ideas, and to be able to come together and build something else. The power of creativity, recognition for very high quality work. How are we going to get that quality if we can't even come to terms to the evolution of ourselves and humanity? How is that going to be achieved when we still have innocent people dying, when we still have toxic, bad apples in our system, when we have these gangsters, essentially, that are given these rights to apprehend the people? It is very interesting, and it's crazy that there is a lot to really dive into with history, and it can be overwhelming, and it can also be like it tears you down. At least that's how I feel personally. I don't know. It's a very defeated type of feeling, but all we can do, I think, is really try to, for one, be be passionate, yes, but let's focus on what we can manifest with us and go ahead and materialize from these new insights, these new bursts of emotion, from these bursts of energy that just gives us this feeling to start a campaign, a start something like that, like to be able to go ahead and push your light out there, um, and know that there is going to be repercussions with that, and you will have things dismantled. There will be a dismantling, a destruction process, which is, I looked at the whole 28-year cycle of Saturn, because Saturn was in Aquarius in 92, and that was during the LA riots, I believe, with Rodney Kennedy. I think that was his name. And then there was also in the Harlem riots in 64 over a 15-year-old who was shot. Um, so there is, you do see a timeline, and in astrology you can kind of see and predict things to happen in a sense, like, because there is patterns that play out, and that there is this intensity occurring again, and this is only due to the evolution process that occurs when we have all these transits in astrology, and you're looking at the point of Pluto, which is the planet of destruction and transformation and depth and hidden and occult knowledge and spirituality and ego, and being that on top of when America was founded, which has a Cancer rising, so, or a midheaven, and so if when you have that opposing, since Pluto is in Capricorn, so this creates for a cry of help that is the mother that is crying for help and is needing for everyone to listen to her, but no one's listening because no one is wanting to shut up. No one is wanting to actually sit down and see and allow the process to happen enough, because it's almost like giving birth to a new world. So it's this mother who's in distress and she's screaming and she's pushing, and we're all just like scared and hope it goes well, right? That we all are going to be involved in it, though. We should all like push through. So I think that's like a good analogy, especially when you have Pluto, which is also about like insertion, like exertion, and like, you know. Um, so that would be like, to me, that's like the baby coming out, and that's the end of the new phase from the womb, whatever. But yeah, so I think in this reading we have the Hangman, the Sun, Four of Cups from the original tarot. So the Hangman is ruled also by Neptune. Since we have Neptune in Pisces, we also have Mars in Pisces squaring all of this and affecting us in the way we express ourselves can be very subdued in a sense, and it can also be kind of like difficult to really express these things since Mars kind of falls in or is kind of dulled in Pisces. So it wants to release all this, but it doesn't really know how. And since there's so much mutable energy, there's all this directionless type of feel. So we can get confused with ourselves and our emotions. We can get discombobulated, and it's just being able to be authentic, be able to just say your truth, because there's no way of really saying things about it. You can go ahead and say like, oh, should we say it in this form or should we say it in this form? It's too hard. It's not. It's something I think that we really need to kind of dive into ourselves and go ahead and have that come from the inside out. Once we can eradicate all the blockages within our own selves and our limited perception of ourselves and be able to open ourselves up, which is Sagittarius moon, Gemini sun, Mars in Pisces. We have the release point in Virgo, which is trying to make a list of all these things and is trying to just try to get everything together all in one go. So there can be a tendency to kind of like get confused with certain things with yourself that you're like analyzing, and you're like trying to go in with all these awakenings, with all these disturbances within the force. So being able to just release that and to be able to feel it, because I've been crying. I just cried before I did this, and I cry most nights now. It's just overwhelming, and it's crazy what's happening, and it's a lot, and it's a lot to take in. But I think if we can just not look at the spilt milk, I guess I would say, on certain things, and really see the blessing that is being presented to us to really welcome us into a newfound experience of a way of living, which is going to take time, obviously. But I think it's just being like, how long is it going to take, I think, sometimes for everyone to just forget things, to just try to like go back to normal. Like we really need to not try to resort back to comfort, but we really need to really be pushing ourselves and doing something that is going to be evolving. So it's like, who are you serving? Why are you serving that? And what's the purpose, Like, you really need to question yourself. And really, people want to go ahead and say one-sided about things. And it's like, how can you be one-sided about something that is totally unfair and unjust? But yeah, that's today's tarot card reading. I give love and blessings to all, abundance, benefit to all, harm to none. Allow us to really stretch ourselves, expand and contract on things to really bring ourselves together and ground us, so that way we can be vibrating in higher vibrations, but also getting more grounded at the same time, to be able to really bring forth these things. And don't feel pressure, basically. Like, allow yourself to be in this transformation that is occurring up for our eyes. With Pluto, Jupiter retrograde in Capricorn, that is a negative kind of feel, so that we are going through a very holistic situation at the moment, since we do have Pluto and Jupiter and Capricorn retrograding. Uranus is in Taurus. So there's a reconstruction process within that, within our values, within our because Taurus is second house, so that's all about planting of the seed. So that's the value system. So that's all getting reconstructed. That's all getting eradicated. That's all kind of with Uranus. It can go either to the far fucking left, go left field on us, kind of, or it can be in the right and actually be justice rather than selfishness and stuff like that. And then Neptune in Pisces, giving us that more of the dreamy kind of feel. So again, very lost in fears, like very exacerbated. So that's what Pisces, I guess. Pisces tend to take on a lot of things. So I like to say big spirits can take on a lot, which is why they come into this life and they take on these crazy, humongous ass stories. And it to me, that's just kind of like shows that you are such a big spirit to me. That you're able to take on all of this. Not a lot of others people came into this lifetime and signed up for that. You know what I mean? So, love you, Pisces. Stay strong. All my Pisces friends, even the ones I don't talk to. I love you. But yeah, so humanity, we are going through it. Humanity Project. All lives matter once Black lives matter, once Indigenous people's lives matter, once we have justice, once we have a reform. Let the revolution be televised.